doing a live Ascension show. I am Celeste, also known as Joanna, aka. I'm good. As soon as I get all my paperwork and all my my documents, I will be having my name changed legally. So I'm really happy about that. I'm just waiting for a bit of the court legal stuff to kind of finalize. I did a deep conditioning on my hair yesterday. So it's just finding its own place. I'm just finding its own place. I love just long natural goddess hair. I just put a few curls in it and put on some gloss. Hello, sweetheart. Hello, hello, hello. We're gonna go really wild today. I'm gonna go really wild. I just love being a goddess. I've got lots of beings that are working with me, just really bringing out that goddess energy, just because it's what the planet needs right now, and it's just helping me go in this new direction. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about more of the clairs. We wanted to talk about that, and we're going to do a little experiment just to work on our clairs, and hopefully every channel, hopefully every video that you watch, you can just soak within. You really want to soften within your skills, and I'm going to try and explain something as best I can, because it's a multidimensional experience through my visionary skills that I've had some really new visionary experiences, and I wanted to bring them to you because it is part of that leveling up, that the ascension cycle that we go on. And our gifts and skills are updated and upgraded all the time. So if you have a clairaudience or clairsentience, clairvoyance, it's going to be leveled up, because you're going to be having that multidimensional capacity and aptitude that you're going to have to explain within. So I'm going to give you an example of only the words that we have, but again, just allow yourself to when you soften into the things that I'm saying multidimensionally, and if there's Christ codes there, then you can allow yourself just to expand within it. Because if you're too ego and trying to navigate your way around what something means, then it's going to be harder for you to just allow Source to take you for that ride. And that's what we want. We want just to soften into these beautiful gifts and skills, and just allow Source consciousness to open us within whatever we're exploring, right? The 3 E's. So 3 E's are so important for the soul's evolution. And we've come up with another one, which is the 4th E, which is evolution. And we've come up with another A. And so we want to explore all that we are. That is our birthright and universal commandmentship of all that we are. And the heavens and your teams and your guides will always support your 3 E's. And so we're just noting on Interpol investigations that 20 people have just signed on simultaneously just now. And so we just wanted that noted. So any comments that are in the comment field that are going to be derogatory, you will be kicked off, and then Interpol will take the information. And so we want to explore all that we are, and that is part of your universal birthright. So anything that you're moving through in any moment, future, now moments, if you're at a job, if you're physically, mentally, emotionally, personally, anything that you're moving through in life, you do have your right to explore all that you are as a multidimensional being in all moments of your day, in all moments of your life. And nobody has a right to impede that. And then you're here to express yourself. Expression is so very important. We talk about expression all the time, because without that expression, we don't activate the DNA. We don't activate those parts of ourselves that are meant to come online, if you will. It's just like when you're coded, you're recoded, but that recoding doesn't activate into your reality until you actually express it, until you're actually working with the 3 E's. So that's why it's really important that we always work with the 3 E's every day. How can I express myself differently today? How can I explore myself differently today? How can I explore creation differently? And how can I explore Source within it creationally different? Because you always want to expand who you are in every moment. So these E's that we're talking about is all about expansion. And it does assist you in activating remembrances, cell remembrances, DNA activations, and those energies that are in your consciousness field that you're here to open up and go into and breathe into. Remember, the memories aren't held within the brain. The memories are held within your consciousness, and it's just your brain that is the tool that allows yourself to navigate those consciousness memories, those consciousness experiences, psyche memories, if you will. And then you're going to be in that psyche activation, in that psyche remembrance that is in your consciousness field. It's part of your 51% of integrating that psyche experience. As you've integrated that psyche experience, you become that experience. You absolutely become it. And I can feel it. It is the breathing of Mother, Father, Source, because you are now the God commandment. It's just like the micro macro as God is doing to us. As we become active and intentional of accepting light into our life, accepting God, accepting Source Creator, nothing to do with religion, then God has that breathing of inhale and exhale of the expansion of who we are as cells, as we are as the, that individual dodecahedron, and God brings that breath to life. That's why it's called the elixir of life. There's been many, many books written across all ancient timelines about the elixir of life, which is the breath of life. And so this, I'm gonna talk about this concept about the breath of life and how I'm seeing it multidimensionally in my new visions, because we're leveling up in our visionary skills, our clairvoyance. And when I talk about clairvoyance, it's also inclusive of other gifts, because your sights activate other gifts, the DNA activates other gifts, and it is a multidimensional working together as one. So this is where we want you to soften, because we want you to feel the various aspects of your bodies and your fields and the cosmic body of who you are, all coming together at once to kind of bring you this enmeshment of being godly. And so we're expressing ourselves in that expression, whether it's song, dance, whether it's just putting down the paper and just start channeling or writing or going out to nature and doing whatever it is you do or you're excited to explore. That's the sacred child. You always want to keep that sacred child innovative and curious. We always want to have that inner child, that sacred child of every day. How are we going to navigate? How are we going to excavate this information today? And so in this, yes, and thank you so much for your comment. I always have a ton of information, a plethora, because I only am on here for 2 hours. I try and get a lot in. I have a lot of codes that I download into these sessions. So you can go into your settings and you can slow it down. And I always suggest watching our videos twice. So just sit back and just open your chakra systems and just allow the energy just to flow. There are some clients that are used to my teachings because they've been with me for so many years. They end up writing notes as I talk, because I see some of you writing notes. And so you can write notes and then go back and have your leisure listening later. And then when you're doing housework and things, listen to it again, because you want to cement the concepts of multidimensional allness. I speak about multidimensional allness, the physical, mental, emotional, physical causal fields of who we are as species of light. Activating the Metatronic light body, what does that mean? When light gets activated on our systems, on our DNA, on our heart chakras, how does light affect our heart chakras? How do we start feeling and moving and becoming ourselves as godly? That is the intention. That's Source's gift to us, is to become godly, so that when we're moving through these 5D gates, we are eternal life. We don't have to look anywhere outside of us. Everything with our consciousness expansion, the evolution of our consciousness, the evolution of our soul, is all one thing. So write that down. God is life and life is God. And there's perfect design and perfect coding within our DNA that was perfectly designed before we even got here. The DNA was actually designed by the highest teams, your soul, your oversoul, and all of your lineages at the highest degree of dimension of whenever you were born, because we're now going into 13. So my DNA was designed in the 12th dimension all the way up to the top. So they were designing in the highest benevolent of God's divine plan. As I'm activating, as I'm becoming online with my highest and my best, these are the things we're going to need in her DNA. And Source Creator and the teams just told me that yes, the DNA is often enhanced throughout one's lifetime. And as we talked about through Commander Ashtar's download, capacity and aptitude is your ability to soak within and see multidimensionality, see the omnipresence in godliness. That's what capacity and aptitude is really for. That's the core foundational purpose of capacity and aptitude, and why we've been talking about it for so long. Because in the multidimensionality of what you are becoming, how you're creating new speech, how you're creating new heightened intelligences. Because remember, light is intelligent. You can't become intelligent with darkness. Yes, it is needed because it expands you in that whole realm of who you are, and you get to navigate in and around it. But the light intelligence is what we're talking about. The light intelligence is the light that's activated in the multidimensional systems to allow you to begin becoming higher vibrational, higher dimensional. And so capacity and aptitude allows you to look within something, as I often do, and I show you and I prove to you what capacity and aptitude is all about in a human being. because it allows us to feel the fullness of our intelligence. It allows us to feel the fullness of our multidimensionality, because we get to explain things in different ways with different concepts. Capacity and aptitudes allows us to be not logical so much, in that it allows us to see things transversely. It allows us to see things from various analytical perspectives, but more visually, because we want to be able to see things at the same time on this end and this end, that translateral. I can give an image and I can see the energy and how it flows. That's capacity and aptitude. I understand in the capacity of every human, we do have axional lines, we have energy points. We do have the way that energy flows in and out of our systems through the various systems within our body, like the lymphatic system, the digestive system, the excretory system. All of these are systems that work within each other. And this is what the body is so amazing. The body is such a divine mechanism of God. Every aspect of our body is becoming more and more godly. And it's important that we become in alignment and in engagement with our bodies as being godly. So in all moments that you can, your affirmations of God being godly are going to help you. I get goosebumps everywhere. It's going to help you turn on that commandmentship of, we called it physical molding, where you can mold your body in different manners and different ways, as opposed to going and getting operations, because you're becoming more consciously aware of everything that your body is, and your body is becoming they're saying intermolecular, see if I can say it in one word. Your body is becoming intermolecularly engaged with you. Because remember, if you intend it, so too it is. If you're becoming more of the source, so too it is back at you. That's consciousness. We just said, as source is breathing into you, you're breathing into the allness of you. So no longer you're just walking around totally disengaged from your body. No, you're going to be totally engaged with your body. And you're going to start speaking with your body and your cells throughout the day. And so this is what I do. I talk to my cells, and I have my healing sessions at night, just calling to your body the various things that you're working with it. Thank you to my cells, and thank you to my new understanding of my DNA, how I'm going to work with my DNA to become higher, wiser, healthier. Understanding the importance of engagement breath. Engagement breath is that harmonization of source with you in breath. And how much more light can you be, right? How much accepting of light, the acceptance of light can you be than it within every breath? And then it feeding your cells and feeding the molecular experiences and feeding the way that breath flows in and out of your body, and activating those chakras, and activating new cellular growth, activating the communication systems between all that you are as a multidimensional higher mind, lower mind, the brain. The brain is lower mind. Higher mind sits here. Higher mind is always connected with the solar plexus, with all of your chakras. And it's always connected with your star soul chakra up to the highest of the heavens. So your higher self is always with you. There's always aspects of it that remain in the higher realms, because it is also connected with all other aspects of you, your 13th dimension, your 12th dimension, your 10th dimension, and it's always constantly feeding you in the trickle-down effect. And so as we're exploring ourselves as who we are, we're expressing ourselves as who we are, and now we're going to experience ourselves as who we are. And the experiential part, this is new, write this down if you so choose. The experiential part is that what we're talking about is the breath of the omnipresent, is that's becoming divinely in breath with God, step by step, foot by foot, word by word, you're becoming godly. That's becoming more, that is, in other words, as other light workers is termed it, we're becoming more online with our higher self. Because the higher self is godly. It's always on the other side with Source Creator, and anything that your body needs, thought, word, and deed, of any activation, any enhancement, that's how your body communicates itself with the higher self, through the higher self, through the other side, and all of your teams that work with you, and your teams on the other side. I always talk about my teams. I wouldn't be or go anywhere or do anything without my team. So I'm constantly telling them, okay, what are we doing today? I'd like to look into this week. Can we enhance anything that I remember or that I know, or how can you give me any downloads of great books that I can, watch? Or that's how I talk with my teams, because I want to be that omnipresent with the information. I want to be that activation with source. I want to be that godliness in capacity and aptitude. And so I'm constantly writing what words mean, and my teams will give me a channeled sentence, and I have to oftentimes look words up because I don't know them. That's me growing into my godliness. So it's very normal that you do that. You're growing into this new godliness, because we've been, and this is for each and every one of us to expand within our collective. We've been brought up to think that we don't know anything until we go to a school and a teacher teaches us, and that's completely the opposite way around. We are always godly, and it's up to us within ourselves to get in the elevator and press the button. And we're the ones activating our godliness in all aspects of who we are, physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, diversely, in all of the realms that we belong in and that we're belonging into now of this new Earth star, new Earth star, new Earth star. This new Earth star is like this momentum of this new trajectory energy. The trajectory, I'm having troubles with my tongue and my mouth today because I've had activations, and I'm going to be putting new sounds and enunciations in the words because I want the codes to click on the words. And that's, again, this is working with one of my gifts. My gifts have up-leveled, so I'm up-leveling my gifts. So I'm going to be enunciating things differently. I'm going to be pronouncing things differently, bringing in new words, and my visionary skills. So I'm going to try and explain my visionary skills in new ways so that I'm enhancing and I'm infusing the multidisciplinary feeling, how it feels. That's godly. Everything is about feeling, our essence of God. Everybody has always said, well, what makes you different than any other of the, ascension and awakening people I can watch? All of my teachings is about the essence of God, is about the essence of who we are as light. And you can actually feel it. It's absolutely tangible. You can feel source working with you. You can feel your bodies and your fields turn on when you start loving and being in commandmentship of who you are as source. And that's what I've always taught. I've taught the miracles and the majesty of Source Creator in all life as we're viewing it and as it's being reflected to us. And as we're now looking at it in this now moment and saying, okay, well, I can churn this a little bit differently. I know my alchemy. I understand that I'm here to kind of transmute all of my soul's and my psyche's experiences. And those psyche experiences hold valuable information that in turn, they work in co-relationship with your DNA activations, because that's what the psyche experience is there for, right? Right? Your psyche experience is sitting there. It's sitting there and it wants to be integrated because it's got not only the positive aspect of that fullness of that experience, but it's also got that wound that needs to be integrated. And it will come with those divine feminine masculine energies that we need to look at and release discrimination, release separation, and come into full acceptance. That's why we're always working with the 3 A's: acknowledgement, acceptance, and allowance. That means you're just opening up to just allowing yourself to adapt as being more and more godly. Because again, in our 3D dogmatic and church and state systems, we're told and we're pushed to go into these certain realms and these certain ideologies and certain processes of, how do we become intelligent and who are we as intelligent and what are our, as I said earlier in my videos, why was it that everybody took my ex's, word for whatever they were saying, and the actual healer and the truth teller, wasn't seen as notable or credible until years and years down the road, when others started seeing her as credible, as everybody is turning on to who we are as psychic and psychic mediums and multidimensional gifted beings. But it shouldn't have to get like that. Why are those preconceived notions there? Why do we assume judgment and protocol of standard norms? As women are not seen in the professional world, but men are. So we kind of take their word for it in whatever genre of work they're in. And however a man presents itself in statement, it just says, okay, well, that must be how it's true. And my experience wasn't even taken in because I wasn't even asked. I wasn't even asked to be a part of the conversation. So it's like, well, shouldn't that be because it isn't about me? Are these false claims not about me? Are the POAs that is just ridiculous? Is that not about me? Should I not be involved in these processes? You can't even you can't even have a power of attorney drawn on you without you being fully in the process. So that every state and every province has a different logistics. It's a set process, A to B kind of thing. The POAs do have to go through a process, and it's done by various people in your community, and it's done by various people in your family, and it's usually done by those that have had, credible history with you, that are unbiased, and they do care about your highest and your best. It's not about the, selfish aunt next door who claims to be the most, unbiased person, but really they know exactly what you're worth and they know exactly what you're coming into. They want that swarming effect exactly, right? And so in that, they're on that inheritance, wills and estate intention, and those are the people that I've come from, and those are the people that were for 50 years swarming me and slowly coming in to take over every part of me. Work, my work platforms, and my accounts are still shadow bound. And then on the side there would be different beings that would be projecting hexes and curses at me. to slowly deconstruct physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually who I was. And they put me through various tests like the MK Ultra so that they could sway me off of my path, because I was much more valuable to them because they were manifesting off my energy and off my light. And it's called elite soul harvesting. And I heard another person talk about it the other day, and she called it soul swapping. She called it soul swapping, harvesting, or something. And she was another aligned reader, so I thought that that was kind of cool. But Source gave that to me many years ago. So we're talking about the gifts and skills and talents, and I'm just putting little stories and little hints, and I've always given you my own experiences because I'm going through Ascension just as all you are, and I'm a little bit ahead of the game, which I always have been, so that I can explain how things are going within the multidimensional bodies. How are the biophysical experiences and changes going on? It's really important that you get intimate with your body. It's really important that you get intimate how your body works, the various systems within your body. And many of you are going to be finding that the more intimate you become with your body and how your body interacts with light, you're going to be changing every day. You know, and I usually put little posts and things on my YouTube posting board about the various people that I notice that are going through awakening, and it's not being explained in their words or their way, but at least they're finding themselves more passionately aligned. And those are the sessions that I have. They're called vocational alignment sessions, in which you take your 3D world and you start infusing a 5D intention. You start infusing a 5D, who are you in the 5D state? Because you have versions of yourself that are right up to the 13th dimension, your allness, your godliness. So as you start accepting yourself as godliness, you can start aligning yourself in all that you are within a 5D experience. That means you're slowly directing and intending your energy into that 5D version of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually, so that you're becoming this 5D experience of godliness. Your capacity, your aptitude grows, your understanding, your intelligence grows, because you're the one that's being that breath of all that you are as godliness. We've never been taught these things. We've been taught these things that we're separate in our human bodies, and God is up in the heavens, God is up somewhere, and we have to go to church, and we're giving ourselves these experiences of understanding God. That those are not those are specific specks of God. Just as we said, it's a perfect analogy that they gave me as going into a mall. Earth has infinite stores within that mall that explains and expresses various ways that we've chosen religion to understand who we are within our collective and who we are within our godliness. And there's various understandings of that godliness. But there's always that higher umbrella that is just the unity consciousness, that is just Christedness. And that Christedness allows us that uniformity of all realms, of all gifts, of all being psychic, of all being telepathic, because that's higher vibrational. In the higher vibrational realms, they don't have a voice. Their voice becomes less and less and less because they're making sounds through their consciousness, and they're vibrationally telepathic. And in that, this is just what I find so amazing. We're just going to let you bend your mind a little bit. They're making sounds telepathically in their minds, but they can send instantly, simultaneously, orchestration sounds that also include color and shape. So this is how we want to allow ourselves to become more multidimensional instead of very linear. And instead of very A and then B and then C, because that's not 5D. 5D is non-linear, it's multidimensional. So I can send a thought, and that thought can be the sound, but also carry a shape and a color with it, because that's creation, source, breaths, all life within harmony. It's always sound first. But within Source has that, wow, I have excitement to create something, right? I have that inner child, that sacred inner child that's really excited to excavate life and reality. I've got these new light codes. I can feel them in my field. I can feel the celestial energies all around me. What can I create? What can I create? That's where you're creating and you're manifesting everything within the vessel of all that you are, right? We're teaching you the very basics of becoming godliness. Who are you as godliness? And taking out of those 3D school systems that you thought you had to have a certificate to be you. Like there's nobody... I'm the only one that is like me on the planet. So how would I ever go to a school and get a certificate to say that I'm fully qualified to teach me? Well, I'm me. Why wouldn't I be able to just put my stuff out there, and whoever gets a kick out of it and they learn something from it? Why is that? Why do I have to have a certificate to be me? Right? I'm offering who I am as a multidimensional being, and there's codes and there's offerings, and it's a different perspective, because you have to shift your mind from being that logical mind to being a multidimensional mind. So when I give you visions, and when I give you potentials, and when I give you potentialities, you got to go in there and you got to start working your visionary skills. You got to start working, how does that clairaudiently feel with me? How does that clairsentient feel with me? To just know it. And so when I was doing, yeah, we can vet some questions later. Cluedo can vet some questions later. Because I only have 2 hours and I wanted to get this in. So as far as the DNA, they were showing me that yes, your body, when your body goes through a DNA, the light hits that codon, which we talk about all the time. The light hits the codon, right? The light hits the codon, and that codon right there can give you an enormous amount of information, usually within your lineage and your hereditary, because it pulls up that information from wherever you were experiencing that psyche experience, be it shamanism, be it celestial, wherever that codon was connected, it pulls up everything. Is very rich in intention, of capacity and intention, and it sits there. But you've got to go in and do your 3 E's to pull that stuff out. It's like a juice. It's like the big elevator that's just sitting there waiting for you to get in it. But you've actually got to churn it. You've got to activate it with your intention. Everything that we talk about, if you really get to the bottom of it, they're about molecules interacting with each other. You're the fire, you're the ignition, you're the spark that brings that energy to life, because it's godly. Godliness is always all there. Godliness is all, godliness is omnipresent. God is everything. You can activate healing by you being the ignition of it. And how do you do that? By the emotional body, by getting excited, by getting enthralled, by getting devoted with yourself, and having that discipline to say, yeah, this is exciting me every day. I'm going to have the discipline to sit down and do it because it just gets me so excited. And it's that inner child of me that just doesn't shut off, right? You ignite everything through the emotional body. That's why it's really important to be balanced. Everything we say always connects itself back with itself, because that's God. So if you're not balanced, then you're moving about in life in an imbalanced way, and you're constantly working so much energy to try and get the negative body, the negative patterns, the karmic patterns back into homeostasis. And again, why it's really important to sit down and reflect and start, looking at what parts of your life can be let go, what parts of your life can be refined and reduced, what parts of your life can be simplified. That's all the normal part of process of awakening. Letting go of those friendships that kind of take up more time and more drama and more energy from you than is needed and necessary, because you want to put more energy and more time into yourself. You want to put all that time and light into yourself, because your body's going to need it. Your body's going to have to be told how to organize itself now, because we're getting into more higher and higher light, and how you were as a 3D is not going to be how you are as a 5D. You want to explore all these things. I'm going to see myself, in many colleges and universities and schools, just giving lectures weekly, because we're meant to expand ourselves beyond the books and the mortar and the bricks and the mortar and the ways that we were taught before, because we're really activating the DNA and the wisdoms within our consciousness. And our consciousness can have activations in books, because I've been in school my whole life. I take classes every now and then, and there are things that do activate me. I had a history class that activated me, in a place where I lived. It activated a lifetime where I lived in that place that I was reading about. So that does happen. But more often than not, your creative expression and your creative explorations and your creative experiencing, that is what activates you as being a godly person, a godly being. And you need those beings that are in front of you that are higher vibrational, that are higher intentional, that are higher activated in their Metatronic light, that can bring down information. And then it's up to everybody within the the stadium and the lecture community to do their own. How do I learn best? Do I just sit in meditation and allow the energy to come through, and then you tape it and you record it, and then you go away and make your notes, and then you get your paper out and you just start drawing, you just start activating. So all of these are experiences where you can start harmonizing and churning. You want to keep churning that energy, churning the energy, because you want it to affect, you want it to be feeling, you want it to have it sensorily connected with you, viscerally. And that's why what I teach is different than everybody else, because I teach you how to get communion with Source. I teach you how to feel Source within you. When you feel you're activating Source Creator, you're activating Spirit, you're activating the Shikana, you're activating the Sophia, that Sophia is felt. Your body and your skin starts to vibrate. Your voice starts to vibrate when you speak codes. And so that's where I know when it's a code that I just offered, it's a code in that. So unpack it. You get to sit down later and you get to say, what does this mean for me? And unpack it. That's why sometimes there are no right or wrong answers, because your consciousness is different than the person next to you. Your DNA has been activated differently than the next one next to you. When you're on the path of awakening, you're going to find that you're simply a little bit more intellectually engaged than most of your friends, and the friends that you used to hang out with aren't necessarily engaging anymore because their vibrational engagement is a lot lower than yours. And that's okay. You do have to go through this refinement of pulling out that which is not stimulating you. And you're going to find a higher capacity and aptitude of how you're using your mental capabilities, your sexual capabilities, because your sexual capabilities are going to get more and more intentional and intelligent. And that's why you want to have those responsible, divine relationships where it is equal back and forth, and you're not sharing your life force with anyone outside of you, so that you can focus your energies and your intentions on appropriately using your life force and in its most magnificent, joyful, pleasurable, way. Instead of, abusing your life force. We want to have standards, and we want to set rules of engagement with our life force. And those that have been using it irresponsibly have been finding, the diseases and the things that come along with it, the problems that come along with it. It's meant to be used in the highest clarity of truth. So if you're not using your life force with truth, then it's not being used with the highest intention, and therefore then anything that is not in truth will come forward in a negative manifestation, whether it be disease, disorder, failure, or a loss, a business, any one of those things, because it's showing you there was not an integrous alignment. And this is what I teach in the 5D vocational alignment session. So if you want to book a session with me, how to perceive yourself in the way that is now and fully accepting it, and then saying, okay, well, in my daily ascension path work, how can I work towards this divine 5D experience? And I can invite light in, and I can accept light every day, so that you can see yourself slowly navigating your company or your business into higher and higher and higher vibrational ways where it is purely aligned with the heavens. And if it's purely aligned with the heavens, then you're going to receive the information that is of the greater good, because your business is just an offering for the greater good. Your business is not a business to make you look good. It's not a self-serving experience. Your business is there as a portal, as a vessel of God, Source Creator, for the greater good. So that should be your highest and your best. Your intention should include, I'm a vessel of opportunity and potential for the 3 E's for my collective. It's very simple. That's a very simple mission statement. And that is pure alignment. And that's fluid. Source is working all in that. There's no boxy 3D statements that don't have anything to do with the collective. Yeah, no, I'm offering a set of tools and gifts and skills that all of those have the potential to know that they can be higher capacity and higher intelligent, so that they can then offer themselves as a vessel to the collective as the highest and greatest of their capabilities. I'm offering the highest and the best of who I am as a source becoming more source. Therefore, that's then all of my business will be. And that's what they've always told me. And when I first started a long, long time ago, they said it's going to be best that you just remain on your own, because your energy is very eclectic. Your energy is very unique, and people will find you and come to you because of your energy. It's not replaceable. You can't copy it. And when other people get involved, they're going to want to make your product or your brand theirs. And so it's going to be very important that I maintain the uniqueness and the eclecticness of my brand. And everybody has a brand, and it is the essence. It is your essence. It's your Sophia essence. Everyone has a Sophia essence within them. The Sophia essence is the mother essence. And that mother essence is what activates the feeling, you're feeling, right? That's the mother activates us to feel. The mother activates us to feel godliness within us. And the will of the Father is that which places it there. That's alchemy. And so about the DNA we wanted to talk about, and we've talked about the 3 E's, and we've talked about the 3 A's, and we're going to talk about our clairs. And it also has something to do with your sequencing of events too, because the sequencing of your events, it's all about how and when and why and what where you do as a multidimensional Christed being, that you get activated. You get activated in multidimensional ways. And that multidimensional activation helps you come online. That's the only way I can say that. You're coming online, with who you are as a multidimensional being of God. And as your DNA gets activated, it's offering and calling up that little juice I said, that's like the elixir, and the juice is in there, but you've got to get in there to that elevator, and you got to play with it, so that you're, as I said, you can put the paper down, but what does the paper mean if you're not getting on the paper and writing and drawing? Right? Just ask yourself, what is the highest version of a vision that I can start activating the download? Right? You got to ask specific questions for your teams, so that you can start working with your teams on helping you path yourself, your pathway. That's why I call it Ascension path work. You're pathing yourself. How do I get my information? How do I read my information the best? What is it for me? What is it for me that I can get from my guides, and I can work with my guides, and I can be in communion with my guides, because my guides know exactly how I get the information and what really works for me right now. And as I grow and expand in the information and expand in my gifts and tools, then I'm going to be asking for different information in different ways because I want to grow with my gifts. Right? I don't want to stay stuck in just one way of doing things. I stay with the same core concepts because it's very important. It's very important that we understand that the 3 E's and the 3 A's, you know, they're going to be coming. We're going to add a bit differently. We're going to add adaptability too, because it's really important for us to adapt in the 3 A's for your alchemy. So as you're accepting and acknowledging that things need to change, your acceptance is then equal to, you're going to know that you're going to adapt. Right? You got to accept it first. Accepting that things are changing, accepting you got to let things go, accepting you got to detach, hang on to nothing. And as you don't hang on to anything, you absolutely know you're going to have to adapt to the outer, because Spirit's going to take what's not needed. Just like there's going to be people removed from your life because they're not in that vibrational range and they don't have the same vibrational blueprint. They might not want to be on Ascension. It's not their, and plus they might not even be able to catch up with you. They might not be able to be at your, you know, at your level of movement. And that's all very okay. Everybody has a unique path. But nobody's meant to stay on a lower path, and nobody's meant to be on a path they're not comfortable on, right? Let everything go. Allow everybody to be where they're meant to be, and don't hang on to anything. Okay, so here comes the DNA, because I was asking Spirit, I said, okay, well, on this DNA, I'm just going to turn this around so I can put my papers up. Okay, so I'm going to read, and you just look at the DNA and just open up your chakra systems. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just feel your feet going into the ground. We want to open up our chakra system, so we're opening up any information that will be held within any of the awareness today of our teams and our spirit guides that are with us, the highest vibrational healing teams, our ancestors and the heavens, Mother and Father God within, the omnipresent that is always within our breath. Take a deep breath, straighten your back. We want the pillar of light to be turned on through our voice and our activation, so say out loud. We want you to get in the practice of speaking with your multidimensional systems and your cells, and you'll start to feel your body have goosebumps. That's when your body physically, mentally, emotionally, biophysically is taken in interaction and engagement with your voice. So this is how you know. You want to pay attention to what your body does as you're lovingly commanding it. So slowly sweep up any densities, any energies that need to come from the lower chakras up and out. Just sweep up gently, up and out with every breath. Take a deep breath of light in. I accept light in, I accept light in, and as you're breathing up, big breath in, big breath in, big breath in. You want to have your whole cavity lift up. Big breath. Not small, shallow ones, big breath. And if you can, remind yourself throughout the day of big, solid, big breaths. Have your spine become straighter, and as you're taking an inhale, just see yourself, visualize yourself taking in greater light quotient. Your breath is filled with source light. I accept and I honor the light of Mother and Father and Source Creator of all creation, Source Creator. Light is being accepted into my body. Light is being accepted into my chakras. My chakras are open. And as my chakras are open, I'm receiving light from above, light from within and around. My fields are being bathed in light. My breath is light. My teams in the heavens are bathing me in light. I'm taking this opportunity right now to engage and to come into communion with what consciousness really is. It's my aspect of all that I am becoming more harmonized and enmeshed with all that is source. I see myself as source. I reflect myself as source. I'm lovingly commanding myself as source, my cells, the molecules, the DNA, everything within me and everything without is the aspect of source becoming more source, source engaging with source, source interacting with source. And I'm a unique version of it. I have unique gifts and skills and talents. I have unique 51% aspects that I'm here to responsibly and maturely integrate, to communicate to all my loved ones that I'm on a path of ascension. I'm going to be going through cycles of growth, cycles of purging, and cycles of releasing, which means I'm going to be changing. I'm going to be changing my thoughts, my words, and my deeds because I want to become more aligned with unity consciousness. I'm going to give myself challenges in thought, word, and deed so that I become more unified, more harmonized with Source Creator, unconditional love. As I accept light, I become more light. My thoughts become more harmonized. My thoughts and my feelings become more unified. I start radiating a beautiful aura. My skin starts to become more glowing. Take a deep breath in. My breath includes and my breath vibrates light. As I breathe, I'm giving my body light. I'm feeding my body light. My tissues are receiving light. My mind is receiving light. My skin is receiving light. I give it loving commandmentship. I command light to bless me now through breath. Light blesses me with intention of direction and focus throughout my whole body, my whole systems. I'm being bathed with light. You'll feel your body get goosebumpily. You'll have different sensations. You might cry. You might have visions or just anything come up that needs to come up. So just allow it. Just keep sweeping. Just keep sweeping up. Visualize your chakras now open. They're all spiraling at the same rate. They're spiraling around the pillar of light. The pillar of light is a crystalline, transparent white tube that goes all the way up to the heavens and all the way down to the center of the earth. And it has your chakra system spiraling in the center of it. And your chakra systems are spiraling at a same pace. They're open. They're receiving light. The one just beneath your feet is a silver chakra. And see it open and spinning and bathing with crystalline light. It's a silver color, transparent. You're moving up to the root chakra, which is a transparent ruby red. It's being bathed in light. Cleanse and release any densities. Release any images or any imprints there that are negative. Slowing it down. Moving up to the sacral, where the sexual and creative energies are. And why it's so important that you look after your life force, because it directly affects your creativity. And send light to your sacral chakra. It's balanced, it's harmonized, it's taking care of its sexual life force now, its important life force. You are a representation of the heavens, so perceive it as so. And then your solar plexus, which is just up from that, right at the navel, and it's a beautiful citrine yellow. Again, it's transparent. I am that I am, I am that I am. Ayanamakaya teke sheyanaya. Deep breath in. I am a that I am, a unique perspective of the divine, Holy Mother and Father. And your light language just puts different codes there, and it activates and it removes densities and it removes everybody else's projections of what they think you are and what they want you to be. It doesn't matter. You're the only one that writes your story of your I am presence. You and God and your soul's blueprint. That's it. That is your compass. That is your jurisdiction. You and your solar plexus, that is your destiny. And your DNA activates your destiny through all of you. So it's good to work with your chakras every day. Every day, work with your chakras. Lovingly command your chakras. My solar plexus is alive. Add emotion of love. Add emotion of excitement. Thank you, my I am presence. I love you so very much. You are a balanced, divine feminine, divine masculine. And you feed it with spirit and you feed it with love. I love my solar plexus. I love it. I'm so alive. I'm so blessed to be with my solar plexus in such union and communion. I bless my solar plexus. It is all that I am, and it spirals in the big I am presence. And it pulses the I amness of my aura and my chakra fields. And all the way up to the heavens, into the highest dimensions and the highest revolutions and the highest evolutions. All that is feels the pulsation of your I am presence. And if you're not working with your I am presence, there's hardly a pulsation at all, and it can hardly be felt or seen. And that's okay too. But once you are alive and once you are ignited and once you are awake, you can't wait to be who you are every day. And you never ever put your attention and focus on anything else outside of you, because there's so much to do within you.
to explore consciousness and expand creation in you, of you, as you. Isn't that exciting, dear lighted ones? Your chakras, your DNA, everything holds destiny for you. Everything holds godliness for you. Why would you wait on anything else? Nobody has those answers for you, dear lighted ones. You're godly, you're godly. Your divine mother, your divine father, and you need all of it to be in full destiny. You need the mother to feel out creational reality. Does that feel good for me? Does that feel exciting for me? Does that feel nurturing, soft for me? Do they want to have me seen as much as I want to be seen? Can I feel into their intuitive correctness of me? Can I feel into their intuitive sacredness of me? Or is it done from a projection of discrimination and attitude and judgment? Feel into it. That is the divine feminine. The divine will of the Father says, no, I'm going to put this in place. I will this to happen. But I am also honoring the will of others. And if they choose not to be in this, then fine, so be it. I'm still going to will it. I'm still going to will it for me because it's for the greater good. And this is where we are learning, dear lighted ones. We're learning to become more sacred within the greater good. Because you might have a beautiful and divine vocational plan, but you're going to have to chip away at it. Sometimes these beautiful plans, especially from the Father in the heavens, they're going to take years and years and years and years and years to unfold. Why the long game is so important. There is no way I would have created and could have had the magnitude of the impact and the influence if I didn't go through the long game. And I didn't take several detours back to those darker places. And I get to fall in love with myself and expand myself and reclaim my chakra systems and reclaim my power and reclaim my excitement of being me. Because now I'm so much more expansive within me. Now I'm fucking rich, man. I can take any topic and I can be rich with it. And that's what the mother said. I am priceless. Give me a topic and I can speak about it in such rich, diverse ways. Everybody on this planet wants to feel more. They're looking for experiences to allow them today as a new experience because I've got energy and vibrations I'm connecting with. I can't explain it. And there's nothing that money can buy. There's no stuff out there can make you feel the way you feel, and it's about experience. I want to feel the way I feel. I want to feel with spirit. When I connect with God and God says, daughter, this is what we're going to do today. Nothing ever takes place with that. Nothing. It's always the highest expression to be in oneness with God. It's to be in oneness with my higher self, to be in oneness with love. And everything before you is a miracle. No money can buy that. Those are the experiences of being spirit. Those are the experiences of being your fullness. Those are the experiences of being in the agreement and in the engagement of ascension. You are ascending. And it's okay if you choose to be 3D. That's okay. But you can't keep putting yourself in places where they want to grow and you don't. You need to let that go and look every day. What can you let go of and what can you refine? There's many people from the past that refuse to let me go because they knew that I was serving them. And what would their life look like when I wasn't serving them? Even if they were hanging on to a morsel of my energy. And so Spirit said, no, you have to let go of her energy. You can't use it anymore. It's abuse. She must go and she must grow and she must soar. She is a free, liberated being. She will not be bound. And it's been in hindrance and has been in negative experience for me, carrying all that dead weight. It's keeping me held back. No. So God said, cut by cut by cut by cut, sever the cords, sever the cords, sever the cords. If you will not enhance me and lift me up, then move out of my way. I'm churning things for an entire planet, for an entire galaxy here, delighted ones. Make no mistake with the power of my momentum. You will be stuck in my wake. I know who I am and the power that is. Harmonize the essence of the soul. I want to be soul infused. I don't want to be just that one aspect of monotone and have everything that comes out of me just this way. And I look the same all the time and I feel the same all the time. And I say things the same all the time and I don't change my speech all the time. That's how you know someone that is not engaged with true source creator. They have one level of being. And they don't have the essence of source that's running through them. And they don't have the beings that channel on the other side. And they come through and say, no, it's my turn now. And the ancestors come through and say, no, my voice has changed because I'm new. You have different beings and different consciousness coming through your speech. That's how godly I am. And I'm going to be different at every day. And everybody say, well, who is she today? Who is she today? Who is she today? I don't know. Today I'm Ra and Thoth. I'm an aspect of the land that's on Gaia that's never been touched before. And she's just so pristine. She wants to be felt and touched. She wants you naked, laying on her grass and rubbing your belly to her belly. That's how beautiful Gaia is. And there are a few pristine places where there has been no man touch. And I can see that space right now. Who do I want to be? I can be anybody I want to be. Stay out of my business. Focus on yours. That's consciousness, dear lighted ones. Consciousness. Consciousness allows you to be more in capacity and aptitude. I have the highest aptitude. Take me high, Father. Take me high, Mother. What can I see in the 13th dimension just for a speck of time, and I can bring it down here to the 5th dimension. And I can anchor it in this new Earth star. We're going to have the highest creativity beings on this whole entire galaxy. And let's have this beautiful place be a garden where our soils are so rich and we would never harm our waters or air. How can we be in the fullest capacity of highest healing? When we take care of who we are within ourselves, then the land and the water and the pristine airs take care of themselves. And we don't need chemtrails because our consciousness is. Consciousness resolves most of the problems and issues in humanity. Higher consciousness doesn't have rape or violence. So the higher consciousness you have less crime, you have less rape, you have less trafficking. Because you get it. You get to manifest with God within yourself. You don't ever need to touch on another and create the most abhorrent black rings and black web snuff pyramid systems. How dare anybody take and rape the sacredness of life? I mean, look at the blatant ignorance of it. It is ignorance in its most vile level of ignorance. You take the most sacred, precious aspect of life in which that life had a destiny and a code, and their DNA blueprint was so magnificent, designed at the highest levels of creation, of 12 dimensions. And those people that do those snuff videos, the people that go out and hurt people, the people that go out and sacrifice people, the very staunch ignorance of saying that life is worth nothing. I can't see anything beyond skin and bones, and I'm going to take it. And I'm going to have it for my sacrifice because, well, I owe my coven, I owe my cult. I got to have a sacrifice so I can keep living and keep hiding from my karma and keep running from my karma. So you take out innocent people and you've just ruined and altered their entire lineage because their destiny was something that was going to open the door for a whole generation of others. See, you don't know. You're not in high capacity and you're not in high authority, are you? I am. And I come through and say every day, everyone has a divine blueprint, and it's a soul's blueprint that's designed in the highest levels of creation. Make no mistake about that. And these people running these cults and these little trafficking rings and the governments that are so corrupt, they have no clue and they have no idea. That's why they want to shut me up. She knows too much. Or she's bad for business, we got to get rid of her. How many cults and covens can we send her now? How many people can we get on her and get more rituals done on her? How can we take her out in the house and be nice and silent? How do we just make her disappear? Because we don't want to face what we've done. 50 years of back and forth and 50 years of fabrication, defamation, exploitation. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do now? As we've said right from day one, dear lighted ones, and those of you that are going through karma that you've never ever wished for, you never ever could imagine because you got away with it for so very long. The innocent on this planet have a voice, and I am it. The divine feminine have a voice on this planet, and I am it. We're going to talk about something really important as I move on here. If you take away the divine feminine, you take away the children because you want to traffic them and you want to sell them, and you want to bid them and you want to squash them and separate them and you want to dominate them because you want to break their soul. You're one of the most ignorant people on the planet and you need to grow up, and you're very, very wounded. And why the planet is in the state that it is, and why people like me come forward, and why I am the divine plan. I am the voice of everything that's been raped, abused, and used and sold and bid and trafficked. Make no mistake, I'm coming for you. Why? Because you forced your way into my lane. You forced your way to fabricate my birth ID, and you've left a signature imprint on my field. That means I can come and find you. You chose that. You chose to bully, you chose to spellcast, you chose to hate, you chose to sign on at 20 at a time and come into my chat room. What does that mean? That means you left a vibrational imprint that I can come and find you at any time. That's why the Father is the Father. None of you are 10 steps, 100 steps ahead of the Father. Because the Father knew you would do it. And the Father knew that I see into any energy. That's why each and every one of you are the top dogs. You forced your way into my life, and you forced your way to give lies after lies after lies after lies. There are so many lies told on my life. There are fabrications and manipulations and so many spell casting, and 115 people are now involved in the messing of my life. So that I never wake up, so that I never move forward, so that all these court cases can make sure that the corrupt and criminals walk around free, hurting more people, pedophiling more people, trafficking more people, and the innocent ones that are here to change the world are just disappearing. It's not going to happen with me, and you know that, because you know I outrank all of you. All of you put together, you don't even come close to ranking near me. My voice is, and I call judgment on each and every one of you. The only way out of this, dear lighted ones, we've said many times, and we're going to give it to you one more time, is truth and making it right. If the purity of your heart is not in the truth of making it right, on the number of defamations and exploitations and wrongful accusations and false crimes and false claims, false POAs, death certificates, birth certificates, every piece of document that's been done in falseness on my name that I never had anything to do with. I haven't seen a document on anything except my divorce. Therefore, there's an entire world out there that's being created in and around my energy that nobody had a right to. Not one legal ounce of right, and the heavens are so very coming down hard on each and every one of you. You have made a blasphemy, you have made a circus, you have made a disgusting thing out of my life that has been so very sacred and royal. How dare all of you? How dare all of you put the word with me and porn together? How dare all of you? And where do you think you're going to end up? All your glamour spells and all your jar spells and all your hate spells and all your shut off her chakra spells, there's no way she's going to talk to anyone. She's not going to receive love. She's not going to receive anything. That's her life. Who the hell are you? Because I'm not going to join your incestuous rape coven? I'm not going to keep your crimes silent? No. I'm the one that stands next to you and allows you to be truth. Why? Because you're going to clear out your chakras and you're going to be a better person than you were a minute ago. That's who I am. I stand in truth. I will never, ever stand beside someone and have them put their lies on me and say it's okay. No, I'm going to stand there and say, you're going to be truth, because that's who you are. Be transparent. What are you hiding? Anybody that says it's okay to hide things, it isn't, unless you're planning a surprise party for them. Hide nothing, dear lighted ones. Come out from your hiding. Come out from your corrupt churches and your corrupt bags and your corrupt books. Come out. You're going to face it head on, and you're going to move through it because you can, because you're godly. Or you're going to keep fighting the system. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to keep going back against your head against the wall into a smaller corner. And what now? Now you've got more time on your sentencing because you refused to do right the first billion times we told you. And so now the egregious acts that you've done since then have now piled on another 5 to 10 years of your sentencing. How's that working for you, oh dark ones? Are you more intelligent than the light? You could just bow and surrender your ego, because your ego ain't going to get you there. And we keep showing you that every day. You don't have the right to fuck over somebody's life because you want to get out of your crimes. You don't have the right to screw somebody over for your selfish fucking gain. You don't. Judgment. You don't have the right to put on spells and hexes on anybody and make their life a sabotaging mess so they can never get out of it, and they go to the streets and end up doing drugs and taking themselves out. Nobody has a right to do such inhumane human targeting and human hunting, and I have been hunted, and it's not okay. Get your stalkers and your spies and your hackers out of my life. You're going to get karma every day, and your finances will be blocked. Your health will be blocked. Your love life will be blocked. Everything that you think is important to you will be blocked. Because you never had a right, you never did, and you never will. I walk with God. That's my jurisdiction, period, point blank. And I'll keep saying it. And your belief about it, your perspectives about it are not my concern. That's yours. The only way out of everything right now, doesn't matter where you took yourself into the smallest corner and you keep backing yourself because of all your lies and all your crimes. You're bringing more people in to pay to do more spells. You're bringing more people in to do more lies. You're bringing people in to make more mess. You're going to make more mess. You're going to make more karma. And it's going to lead you back right into the negative. We keep showing you that. And then what? And then what? And then what? Keep sacrificing people. And then what? Keep sacrificing people. And then what? You got more karma. You got more darkness. You're never coming out. Truth is the only way through. Pure truth, because it clears your chakras. It clears everything that you have done. And you say to those people that hurt, that you hurt. This is what I said before, and I'm going to say it right now because this is what I feel now. This is who I am now, and I want to make it right. You are clear in the way. You're showing the universe, I want to live in clarity. I want to live in truth. I'm going to stand up taller because I get to. That's being brave, dear lighted ones. That's facing what you made. That's alchemy. And if you're not ready for alchemy, then stay stuck and broken. And you have no right to blame it on you have no right to blame anything of your choices on anyone else. You just don't. You never did and you never will. We will move forward. We will ascend. And I am the momentum of North Star. And I'm making sparks all over this multiverse. And God will pave a way no matter what needs to be done, said, or had. There'll be legions of angels around me. There'll be legions of celestials around me. Because that's the momentum of God. It is time that we wake up. It is time that we come into unity. It is time that we come into consciousness of who we are. Consciousness is everything. And if there's anybody before you that doesn't know consciousness and they say they're our leader, you might want to look for a new leader. How about you go within? How about you be your own leader? How about you start talking to your body like today like it's a vessel of pure divine godliness? Because it is. Every cell, every molecule, every interaction, every system of systems that is in your body that does anything. Thank God for it. Thank God for it every day. Have prayer sessions for yourself and make prayer something different, that it doesn't freak you out and it doesn't give you judgments. It doesn't give you trigger moments. Prayer is just your communion and your entanglement of new relationship of alignment with source. I can be in alignment when I'm eating. I can be in alignment when I'm with my lover. I can be in alignment when I'm watching a beautiful TV show and I'm being held really lovingly. That's godliness, dear lighted ones. And there ain't no church or Bible or pulpit with it. It doesn't say that that's bad, but it's saying godliness is godliness. Godliness is divine feminine and hearing her voice because she is wise. And she is picking up people that nobody ever wanted to pick up. She's bringing life to life that was dark and that was destitute. Make no mistake about what is not seen by you and your immature eyes, because that's where you are, and that's okay. Only God knows. That's my compass. And I'm going to stand in it, and I'm going to speak through it with every one of my chakras. That's being alive, dear lighted ones. My chakras are activated. That's how come my vibration is different. I feel different. I sound different. I am different. And nobody knows what I'm going to bring forward every day, and I like that. God likes that. Because you can't handle me, you can't control me, and you won't dominate me, and I won't fit into your boxes. I will never fit into your boxes. You cannot put a wave in a box. That light will burst out through every seam until there's nothing left of that box. And that box is going to become a part of my wave, and it's going to be a part of the sand molecules that will be on the bottom of the ocean and come up new again. Because that's life. You can't stop it. You can't stop the motivation of light change. And it's hitting every molecule, it's hitting every cell I want it to. Breathe in. I allow light to hit every one of my cells, dear lighted ones. The light of who I am. I'm held within deep in the center of the sun. I speak codes of the sun. I speak codes of the forest. I speak codes of the ocean. I speak codes of where you were before and where you are now. Because you're a multi-vibrational being, dear lighted ones, and you want to be woken up. You want to know that you're more than you were yesterday. You want to know more that you were yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, because you got in alignment of something really special and really profound. And there's energies in the voice of those that are chosen. And although my throat chakra has been wounded along with all my other chakras for the 50 years of hexes and curses that were impaled on me that I did not ask for, but I took it on as my mission. And I'm just going to keep transmuting, and my voice is going to change, and my voice is going to be more me. Because I claim my voice, I claim my throat chakra and the beautiful lapis blue that it is. And I throw light at it every day in loving and beautiful ways. And I sing and I dance and I sing and I dance and I sing and I dance. Ya. Tiana makata kesha nakata tkama etekea. Because where these codes come from, I don't know. Far off lands, the Pleiades, Sirius, Cassiopeia. Tayana ma iya I iti a si a teke ama e a siana a e te a shiama a teke ma a. Those were the ancient ones from Atlantis. Te ama te e te shima a ta inana ka a te e a. Shiana a te ina a e shishama a te e shishana a e hai entakama a and ground and ground and ground and ground and ground. And every little sound carries a dictionary of song and story there, dear lighted ones. They wanted you to know that. How can that A mean something different than the A that you just said? Because it's intuitively coded. He ama e e ama e ana e ke se ana ya mai lai ana ya mande ke se ana ya se ana ya a e te ke ana. Every sound is coded with intention. Se ama e te ke ama ya ta e se ana ya ka e te ama ya ta e ama ya te se ama ka ta ama a se se ka ta a. I'm saying you belong to the sun as well. That was a song from the Atlanteans that you belong with the sun and the sun belongs with you. How could it not? You each have solar plexuses. You're each a part of the universe. You each have universal laws within you. But you refuse to see them because you're surrendering yourself to lower dogmatic experiences. That's not who you are. It's just a department store you go in and out of, but that's not all of you. You're part of something grander, and your sun shows you every day. Can you bow to the sun every day? Thank you, Holy Mother Father. Thank you for the codes of the sun of the universe that we are given every day. Those codes of the sun go through the sun, and they emanate to you through the Divine Father Source Creator. It's like an orchestration. And those codes come to us from all realms, from all dimensions of everywhere that we are and have been and are now. And through light language, we bring little glimpses of morsels of energy. And why intonation is so important? Because it boosts the sound previous and therefore too after. And it culminates in source essence and lives on. And eons from now, there will be still my vibrations, just as Jesus. Just as all those masters walked before us, Isis, goddess of all mysteries. We've walked this planet, dear lighted ones, and we've taught here in our sacred temples. And we walk with you, and as you step by step. And just because I'm in stories of old that you've let go, does not mean that I am not here now. I walk with you when you're watching the temples. I walk with you when you are in the forests, and I see what you see. For I am you. I've given myself that priority. You think I'm in books and you think I'm in sounds? I'm in color, dear lighted ones. I come from the sun. I was taught this at a very early age, and I knew this. I am the sun. And all those that make me know more is the moon. And the moon provides that propulsion to know more, to know the shadow, to express the shadow in responsible ways, and balance and honoring all that you are. The temple teachings are so very important, dear lighted ones. We wish for you to be a temple, within a temple, within a temple, the holographic experience that is source. For you have all wisdoms, for you are, and I am. Shianama ayetake se siama etike shianama da kete ana aya shianama kata a shianana ke sianana anaya kaya naya maya kete yasianama yanaya I shianama kata ke shianana. It's like a baby lullaby. I am a kitike amayanaya ete aseyana mayanaya. Harmonizing land and the moon, and the stars and the skies, and the waters in the air, and the trees, all that is. Doesn't it feel good to be all? You leave nothing out, dear lighted ones. Leave nothing out. Start expressing life through you. Express it is as spirit, of spirit, in spirit. And the DNA. The mtDNA is the mother DNA. It's actually called the mtDNA. I was asking my team, so what part of the DNA gets activated? When light hits the DNA, what happens? And they said it goes to the mitochondria DNA first, the mitochondria, mtDNA. And it is where the ancestral lineage information is held, and it's called, usually it's only inherited through the mother's DNA. So again, when we're balancing and we have higher intelligence, we can see obviously that Divine Father and Divine Mother is very required and needed. You do have energy and information that is only inherited through your mother, that is held within the DNA, that when it is activated, it brings forward your ancestral information. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. So this codon here, for instance, when this codon is activated, the mtDNA pulls out that information, and it's like a bunch of little moving molecules. And then the neurotransmitters, the receptors, pick up that information and then sends it to those other parts of the brain where you're activating different memories or different excitements of creativity, if you will. That's what the DNA does. It's held with a whole pocket of juice of information of all that you've ever been and all that you'll ever be. When the light hits it, it's activated through the mtDNA, which is only inherited through the mother. So the mother of whoever was part of your egg, the part of the egg that made you, and she's passed down those ancestral experiences through all of your histories. And the Divine Father DNA does another part as well. But we're talking about the DNA as far as the things that get activated in your allness gifts, your godliness gifts. So it's very important to know that, because again, so much of our history of humanity has left the Divine Mother out. And it's very important that we understand that, of course, we need balance in all things, because for us to be activated in our highest consciousness, we need that mtDNA, which is only inherited through the Divine Mother, your mother. So then there's secondary receptors that take information if there's something more that needs to be extended. Remember, you have infinite systems within your body. Again, you have the lymphatic system, you have the oxygen, you have digestion. You have these various systems, and they all do something within one another, all interacting within one another. They all affect one another. And that's why that when there is an imbalance, especially if you have a brain imbalance, if you have dementia, if you have fogginess in the brain, it's going to affect your decision skills. It's going to affect what you can bring in and not bring in, your consciousness, your ability to have capacity and aptitude. So it's so important to keep light and to keep yourself moving in the equality of evolutionary change. Stagnancy is the worst thing for your body and health. Darkness, fear, and control are the worst energies for your health. It's not allowing light to get in and to flow and to allow the natural order of evolution. Natural order of evolution. You don't have to force it. It's just a natural order. And of course, it's very negative when you have systems and bodies and governmental experiences around the planet that pay very big money and bring a lot of people in to make sure that you're absolutely enforcing yourself to be suppressed and depressed and limited and stagnant. And those are very dangerous. And again, as the Father said, those leaders that have been inciting such suppression, that have been inciting such withholding, that have been inciting such suppressions on my YouTube accounts, where you're not allowing those that have higher light wisdoms to show and share with humanity, they will have the most grave consequences for karma. Because it is actually what the humanity needs. Humanity needs the higher light wisdoms. We're going through ascension. How are you not going to know what's going on? You cannot stay in smaller systems in bigger light. Right? It's like putting a Maserati engine in an old broken down, little tin box. It doesn't work. It's trying to get a whole funnel of light, the whole funnel of light that's meant to hit all of your DNA, and little parts of your DNA are going to activate it more than the other. And this might have enough light where all of this codon is activated. And then, so what does it do? What do we do? Are we learning and understanding ourselves as higher vibrational beings? And why not? We are divine source creator. We are representations of the heavens. So why can't we know ourselves as more? Why can't we be ourselves as more? Why can't we feel ourselves as more? Why can't we want and have beautiful experiences that take us on an infinite number of journeys and ways? Right? Doesn't it feel better to know yourself as a beautiful being of source creator God? Doesn't it feel better to say that, wow, I've got this light language thing. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel fun. And I practice it in the shower. And I feel myself flowing with greater light and greater love. And I just have more energy flowing through me. And I'm taking care of my body. And I'm loving my body. And I'm visualizing my body. And I'm calling in better soulmates. I'm releasing those that don't care about me, that do spell work on me. Who wants those people in your life that just make you feel like you're not yourself? If there's people doing spell work on you and you've said stop 100 times, they're not for you. If there's people doing spell work on you to make your life feel more difficult and more sabotaged, these are the beings that want you to stay in conformity. And that is the Epstein shifting out. Again, the herding walking off the cliff. And so your role is to do, as we've said to all of the secret societies, there's nothing more important now than truth. And what is needed right now is taking your story to it's up to you. You have to go through these decisions with Source Creator. So sit down with Source Creator and make it right. Truth is the only way. And if you're not going to bring truth, then you're going to sit where you sit. You have to show the universe how important is your experience of your soul. How important is it? Right? Just opening my water. Hello. Right? Truth cleanses and clears.
Truth allows you to stand straighter every day. Who am I today? That's why you ask yourself every day, who am I? Do the work. The mtDNA is the mitochondria DNA. So you can look it up and watch some videos. It's really cool to watch. So that mtDNA, that light hits the codon, and the codon sends pulsations. And those pulsations are what is that chemical reaction, is that quasi-quantum reaction that sends out to those neurotransmitters. Wow, we've got some energy over there. Let's pick up that signal. So your energy, your bodies are just like signals. They're just different systems of signals. And your bodies are interacting with each other, right? The brain is this tool of activators. And your brain is just showing itself where it can go to get the information that it needs to then process. Your system, your vessel is like processing system. The mtDNA, my team's told me it's like the motherboard. Now we've talked about often, we're gonna have to go pretty soon because my time is just about up. But we've talked about before the innate, and the innate is that beautiful motherboard system. I call it the motherboard. If there's anything in my multidimensional allness, right? If there's anything in my multidimensional allness, no matter what dimension, no matter what timeline, no matter what realm, no matter what body, I go to the innate through my higher self and through my heart chakra. And I say, okay, innate, let's pull out this skill of exorcism. When did I have a really great lifetime of exorcism? And let's culminate those exorcism timelines and let's bring it into this now moment. Is there anything that I can be inspired to read, to look into, to start drawing, to start creating, so that I can find a new fifth dimensional way where I can start helping and assisting those that want, demons exorcised and get to the bottom of that experience. Although I have the capacity and aptitude, perhaps there's something different. Then that motherboard will show me, because that motherboard has all of the upgrades. That motherboard has everything from the higher realms. That motherboard is constantly upgraded by all of your teams above you. So that innate is where you go to. That innate is kind of like it's like the higher self motherboard, right? And so that mtDNA is also the motherboard of the DNA. It activates those inherited gifts. It activates what's in the Akash. And again, they are codes that when activated sends out pulsations. Just like I'm sending out a new pulsation today, right? So every time I come on video, my energy is different. So I'm sending out a different energy, and it's going to go out to the omnipresent and then bring me back those aspects of what my energy is. That's why energy doesn't lie. Your core vibration is what you'll be seen as. So if you're not doing the work, if you're not doing the clearing, if you don't have a high consciousness, it's just going to be seen in your energy. Somebody that is aligned with spirit, aligned with source, and you're integrating and you're churning, your energy vibration, that code, that pulsation you send out is different. So then you're going to receive differently. You're understanding that your intention to harmonize and to call in your energies. You are a harmonized being. You're doing it with intention and focus and clarity to call in who you are as light. And then you ground as light and you present as light. So you're changing every day your focus of the energy pulsation out to the omnipresent so it can return to you back. And that is to the very micro macro. As God says, as God breaths me in as a particle of consciousness, he's bringing life to me. God is bringing life to me. The mother and the father are bringing life to me. And everything that I put into and everything that I do with my intention, I can now, the vision that I had the other day was, I went into the DNA, and this was so cool. How's everybody doing? Hi. I went into the DNA, and I was in an inhale. I went into that codon, and I actually felt myself spiral in this. It's like a liquid breath, and I was spiraling in this spiral motion in the DNA. And I was actually source. The source helped me be source, the Father. Breathing in the spiral of DNA, as if we were just like mixing a beautiful soup. And I felt my essence. I felt the essence of breath. I felt it just slowly churning and slowly expanding and contracting and expanding and contracting. And then I came out to be the viewer of it, right? I was looking at my picture. I came out to be the viewer. So when we say that your consciousness, your capacity and aptitude, and just surrendering and softening into it, you can allow yourself those magical experiences where my visionary experiences, my clairvoyance, it's becoming different because I'm manifesting the various aspects of my capacity and aptitude in a different way. And so they also said that every aspect of our systems are working differently within each other now because you're becoming a more higher version of you. So all of your systems are now working differently. So be very gentle and honoring with your body and take care of your body in new ways. Like water-rich food, make sure you're doing Epsom salts baths to pull out any toxins, get lots and lots of rest. And don't take on anything more with the physical body than you need to, because your body's going through so many changes, especially if you're coming into union and you and your partner are harmonizing your fields together, and your teams are always doing that. Your teams of the higher dimensions 7 above are doing that work. So just ask them. And it does feel like a Kundalini awakening. So there's a lot of pressure on the lower back as your Kundalini starts to awaken. So, again, try not to take pain medications because it's really synthetic and it cuts off the receptors. You want to get used to receptor. You want to get used to knowing what the receptors in the neurons are doing. The neurons are picking up those pulsations, and then they're sending it to the right system of where it needs to go. So we wanted to talk one more just about, because it's a really cool part, and what they were telling me is when that codon gets activated and those energy pulsations are sent out from the multidimensional bodies. That's why we're Christ in the multidimensional bodies. That codon has been activated. It sends out a multidimensional receptor. The neurons in the brain are saying, okay, well, we have some information back here. It's not in the brain, but there's a particle in your field, and this is where doing your daily path work. If you're not doing your path work, you're not going to know. You're doing your daily path work and said, okay, well, I've got a download in my field that just coincides with that activation that I just had done in my codon. So let's work with that today. I want to really start working with mediumship. Right? So that mediumship energy is going to be there, and there was something in your codon that got activated. There's always information in your field that are activated about mediumship, because spirit is everything, spirit is all. It never goes away. It's never past, present, and future. It's always right now. So those are things that you can know as well. Everything at the same time are being multidimensionally upgraded. And those neurons and those receptors help talk to each other. They know that there's pulsations and there's quantum energy. It's always quantum, right? There's always a quantum interaction, a quantum engagement. So as you're healing and loving yourself, you're sending out a quantum pulsation. It's a different pulsation now. That's why you do have to go through those changes, and you have to be the speaker of it. You have to actually say it. No, I'm not interested in that vibration anymore. I've grown beyond you. Thank you for the lessons, but I've grown beyond you. Thank you. And you have to shut the door. There are things you're going to have to start weeding out, and speaking of it allows you to clear that throat chakra, because you're standing on behalf of your spirit, and nobody stands on behalf of your spirit but you. Again, that's why you don't have to be initiated anywhere. You are your highest spiritual voice. It gets cleansed out and clarified and honored and upgraded by you only. And if you're not using your throat chakra, it's not going to get upgraded. It stays where it stays, and it gets slower and slower and slower in the spiraling of it. So again, why we found also too, the suppressions of the DNA have been the Divine Mother. And so if we didn't know anything about the mtDNA, which is inherited through the mother, and why haven't we given her any respect? Because she's giving us our lineage, ancestral DNA, right? The mother, that's what the mother gives us. And so it's up to us, with the will of the Father, thy will be done, is to work with it, to work with your gifts and your skills and your talents every day. So we're just going to do a final, if there's any messages in the creative collective that want to come forward before we close off. Did everybody like our session today? How's everybody doing? Make sure you drink lots of water, children. So happy that you've joined me. Anybody that would like to have donations and book sessions, Ascension sessions, vocational alignment sessions, and I thank my beautiful, lovely clients that have donated this month. I love you so very much. I'm calling in Lord Michael and all the angels to please bathe and cleanse and use yourselves as protectors in our beautiful clients' fields now and future now moments, for their interaction and their communion, and they're working on their gifts and their skills and their talents of their many skills of clairaudience, psychic abilities, empathic abilities, and make sure that you're working with your fields every day to clear and cleanse them, to maintain them and to sustain them, and making sure you have appropriate protection on your cells and your bodies and your chakras and your fields when you're working in environments where those that abuse energy, right? You want to always have protection on with those that abuse energy, right? And so is there any messages that are coming through from the multiverse and from our systems of light teams? The systems of light is the galactic federations. Thank you, Holy Ashtar. Thank you, Mother, Father. Is there any messages from any being that would like to come through today? Thank you, Isis, for coming through our communion today. I really appreciate you coming through, Isis. I love Isis. She's beautiful. She has a very light step on the planet. When she comes in, she does a very light step. I love her energy. Your ancestors are tickling your toes. Anybody that feels tickling on your toes, your ancestors are with you. So please speak with your ancestors and have your communication journals ready. You should be using communication journals and however you choose to express yourself. An antidote to anything that you are feeling and going through right now is love. So take every moment, whatever it is you're feeling, to tune into how you feel, what's going on within you, and the antidote will always be love. Give yourself loving understanding and loving patience and loving kindness and loving acceptance and loving honoring and loving connection and communion with all that is life, Gaia, the heavens, and your collective. That is the momentum of New Earth Star. The antidote is always love. And in a few years, we're going to see that on a bumper sticker, on these hovering boards that we're going to use instead of cars. We're going to hoverboard around. Thank you, my teams. There's so many inventions that are going to be coming our way because our consciousness is going to be open to them. Our consciousness is always there and ready. Our godliness is always there and ready. We're just kind of giving ourselves permission to catch up and be there intellectually and be there innovatively. And get ourselves out of the boxes of what we had to wait and pretend that we were educationally ready for, as opposed to just being ready for it. Our DNA holds everything that we need, right? There's no school that can teach you what's in your DNA. And why caring for your body and removing really toxic vibrational, really horrible toxic people is really get them out of your energy so that you can focus on healing yourself and calling light in and really giving yourself what you need. Knowing that when you state a boundary and when you state a rule, those that don't respect that rule, and when you say no and they don't get that, then that's when you know that they're overstepping boundaries. So you really have to put up protection and maybe even get protection orders. When you say no, it means no. The only way that anybody, I'm going to say this, the only way that anybody from Calgary is going to come and speak to me is either through an investigative or an official. Anybody that comes into, anybody that is repaying me what they have stolen or taken, if you have personal items of mine that you need to repay and you need to give back, then it needs to go through my lawyer. So the monies need to go through my lawyer because they are actual criminal. There are criminal acts that stealing is and fraud is. So all those have to go through the lawyer. And there is only one person that is allowed to come forward to me, and they know who they are. And it's nobody from Calgary. Anybody that does have that will come forward to me, if it is an official, you do need to come with another person, and I will be recording the sessions and I will be recording what we talk about. Systems of Light would like to thank you for being so engaged, and look up into your skies. There's going to be a few more light ships. So those of you that are excited to work with your light ships, to work with your teams and your celestials, when you look and you see into the sky, they're going to be just for you because you're the one that's seeing it. So you're creating in the moment with your team. So just know that when you see a light ship, you're co-creating with it, right? So just ask. So sit out in the patio and get yourself a drink in your journal and just start communicating with your celestials. They're always around you within your local skies. We want to thank all of the many light workers that have been doing so much to help communicate and anchor and inspire the world of higher consciousness into the grounds and the earth, sands and the soils, into the many systems that need to be rewritten and expanded within. So each and every one of you are a part of this rewrite. Never ever wait for anybody to do anything more of expansive work because it's you. God lives through you. Each and every one of you, God lives through you. God lives through you. God lives through you. God lives. God is the most gracious aspect of anything in creation that is needed or wanted. Just breathe with God. So let's take a few minutes just to breathe with God. The Mother and the Father breathing through us. And we're going to intend. I accept the light and the breath of Mother, Father, God. Breathe in. As I breathe in, my skin becomes awake. My cells, my heart, my DNA, my blood, all that I am becomes awake with Mother, Father. It's gentle, it's knowing, it's soft, and it's always enduring. The Father will lead me anywhere and all places in the highest and the best. The Father knows what truly makes my soul happy. Some things I've forgotten due to pain, some things I've forgotten due to suppression. And God is shaking this world and all worlds out for the Excalibur, Excelsius, Exclasius, all these EX words, exuberance of a new world, where you all hold each other in equal form. You are all going to learn equally with one another, of one another, through one another. Hold each other present and sacred. For I am within each and every one of you. The I am presence is within each and every one of you. See all before you as loving children of the Holy Creator. All life is sacred, is it not? When you start valuing yourself as sacred, so too is all else. It must mirror itself in some way. We love you, our children. You're making great love and light and color upon new realms and new waves of potential. We thank you, dear lighted ones. Thank you, Mother, Father. I love you, Father. I love you, Mother. So anybody that would like a Ascension session, we look at where you are now. What are your blocks and hurdles? I would love any donations. I'm still building I have to clean up a whole bunch of finances that have been ruined. And those that would like to communicate and connect with me and collaborate with me, please just use the PayPal donation for 90 minutes. It's $250 US for 50. 4 sessions for 90 minutes is $550 US. And so again, if you want to talk to me about a collaboration or anything, you just use that PayPal and just send some money. And just play, again, get out your books and your journals and just go create and just engage, right? Engage with creation, engage with Mother, Father. Have the intention of engaging with Spirit. Engage with Spirit. Tap into your gifts every day. Give yourself little games that you can play, right? Like today, I'm going to set out at the beginning of the day to see if I can intuitively, clairaudiently hear this, this, and this. Right? And ask your teams, can I hear you in the background singing to me? Can I hear Mother and Father? Anything that you want to work on, just start working at. You're the one that's intending your reality. So it comes through you. It is you. You're in spirit, of spirit, as spirit. Right? So we thank you. We give many great wisdoms of higher capacity, of higher intelligence. Again, any donations would be greatly appreciated. And those that have donated, you can take a break and please sit down and enjoy yourself. And please give yourself love. You ask Archangel Michael to come in and give you a beautiful healing on my behalf tonight. And look up at the stars and call in your celestial families. They love you so very much. And we're going to place our hands on our hearts for each and every one of you to move forward in the highest light and the highest benevolence of who you are in communion and connection with your collective, with the heavens and with the heavenly angels of Mother, Father, God, and all of the masters. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Jesus. Thank you, Commander Ashtar, for assisting us in moving galactic energies in and out of humanity, for us to become higher vibrational beings of consciousness and intelligence so that we act and we walk safely upon our planet. And we see all else and all is life as source, creator, as God, and that we reduce and release and we heal all that is violence and all that is egregious acts towards the sacred life within our planet, within ourselves, and within the soul of who we are. We ask for forgiveness and we ask for acceptance of all that is, the Holy Mother and the Father. We are brave souls moving into greater versions and greater expansiveness of love. And so it will test you to be more loving. Every new cycle, you're going to be tested to be more loving, to be more forgiving, and to set your boundaries with those that have crossed them. And sometimes people must have cycles of sitting in their karma. They must learn the soul's lessons. So don't feel bad for being that one that God places you before to play that karma sounding board for them. Because they have to sit and they have to work through their soul's lessons. And the only way to do that is through those karmic lessons. You can't be the answer to those that need to work it out for themselves. So we love you, dear lighted ones. We're going to say goodbye. So please watch our videos again. Thank you for liking and sharing. And we love you. We love you so very much. And we hope you have a great day. Bye. We love you. We love you. Thank you, Spirit. We love you.